title against the Del Boy.
Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, the action continues here at the Casino de Monte Carlo as Mr. Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing proudly presents a featured attraction. 12 rounds of boxing for the European heavyweight contest. Sponsored by JD Sports and sanctioned by the EBU, supervisor for the European Boxing Union, Bob Logiste of Belgium. The three judges scoring from France, Smel Aletouche, from Bulgaria, Venislav Nikolov, and from Spain, Francisco Aluzrosa. And a referee in charge of the action at the bell, veteran referee Daniel Vandeville. 12 rounds of boxing for the European Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white and officially weighing in at 18 stone, 2 pounds, 3 ounces. His professional record, 27 victories, including 19 wins by knockout. He has 7 defeats. From London, England, the Del Boy, Dereck Chisora. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with red letters, officially weighing in at 16 stone, 13 pounds, 3 ounces, and his professional record is a perfect one. 16 fights, 16 victories, including 12 big wins by knockout. Fighting out of Essen, Germany, the reigning and defending undefeated European heavyweight champion, Agit Kabayel.
I spoke to both of you in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all time and protect yourself at all time. Give the best you can. Shake hands, please.
Intriguing meeting for the European heavyweight title. New champion Agit Kabayel of Turkish heritage, but German born and bred, in with the former holder of this crown, Dereck Chisora. Chance to see what the German's made of and what the Brit has left.
Yeah, exactly that. We're not exactly sure what the German's made of, and we do need to find out if Dereck Chisora can get back in the mix or belongs in the mix of heavyweights, which is really hot enough at the minute.
Both in the white trunks, but the red of the German's name. Agit on the front waistband, Kabayel on the back. And Chisora not coming in with the Union Jack bandana as he normally does. He's been very relaxed all week and says he realizes it's serious business. Has to take some body shots early on as the big man just settle down here. We've seen the bantamweights, the featherweights, and now there's a lot of weight in there. And with that, could come knockouts. We saw a real mixture last week, didn't we, with Anthony Joshua and Carlos Takam and Dylan White and Robert Helenius. You never quite know what they're going to give us.
No, it's strange, the heavyweight division. Always one punch away from success or disaster. And with Dereck Chisora, you don't always know what you're going to get. I mean, he looks like he's meaning business. Been saying all the right things all week. Kabayel, inexperienced relatively when you compare it to Chisora's career, who seems to have been there, seen it and done it all. Not quite had the top success at all at world level, but we know he belongs in the mix. So this is a must-win for him if he wants to be taken serious in the current crop of heavyweights. And Kabayel, really, he wants to make a statement himself.
Clubbing right from Chisora, who's been training as always in Finchley. Spencer Oliver was telling me he's been sparring well under the tutelage of Don Charles, who's not in the corner tonight. CJ Hussein running it, but he has known Dereck for a long, long time. And Agit Kabayel in with Shukru Aksu. And a big team around him. They've got, obviously, high hopes with that undefeated record and seeing all the carrots on offer in the heavyweight world.
Yeah, of course, if he can get in the mix, there's some big paydays out there for him. And ultimately, that's why they're in this business, to earn a good living and not get hurt in the process. Dereck Chisora putting him under pressure. He's on his back foot. Kabayel. So we'll see what he's made of. We'll see if he belongs as the rounds unfold.
Looks pretty mobile, fluid, Kabayel. But really hasn't been with anyone yet. Certainly, Dereck Chisora has all the experience and seasoning on his side. But can he win the big fight still, Chisora?
We don't know how much he wants to. And he's been found out at world level a couple of times. But like I said earlier, he's still in the mix. He's still a good addition to the heavyweight. And as long as his mind's on the job, he gives all of them a fight, in my opinion.
Body shot from Kabayel. Being told off for holding by very experienced referee Daniel Vandevila. Because they have high hopes for the light heavyweight moving forwards. Heavyweight business to deal with first. Dereck Chisora in a must-win fight, really. It's a crunch time in his career. He had that terrific war with Dylan White a year ago, but he didn't get the nod. We haven't had the rematch. He signed up with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, and you know, for any future fights with the likes of White or maybe even a Wilder or, dare we say, an Anthony Joshua, he's got to be getting rid of Agit Kabayel, hasn't he?
He has, yes, and it's almost an unfair request because Kabayel's an unknown quantity and he's a big lump, unbeaten. He's obviously coming into the ring ambitious with his European title, but we would expect Dereck Chisora to do the business this evening.
Former kickboxer Kabayel had a limited amateur career, about 5 bouts, but Fred, a nice combination. Good uppercut and a right hand there from Kabayel. There's already things to like about him, Cole.
Yeah, it's a good move. I mean, he's big, so we can see how long he can keep this up, but he's moving well. He's got a good defense on his back foot.
He's also a lot younger and fresher than Chisora. May have the speed and possibly a bit more ambition at this stage. We said Chisora's 33. Is he an old 33? He's always had a lot of business interests outside of boxing. How much does he really, deep down, want it? And if the answer is he does, and he gets the job done here, it'll be a very interesting 2018 ahead. But it's a big night for him.
Yeah, most definitely agree with that. He's got to do the business here tonight. And Kabayel comes into this ring and he's doing well. He's boxing and moving. He's quite comfortable. He's picking off Chisora with his jab. He seems to be moving well. Not too troubled there. A little bit of a shake of the head as Chisora lands a body shot. But we'll see if he, as these rounds progress, if he can keep this up, because he's a big lump of a man, isn't he? And he's got a bit of flesh around him and he's got thick set legs, so that would indicate that, you know, over 12 rounds he would slow down quite considerably. But we'll wait and see, because he's a young and fresh heavyweight.
He's almost a stone and a half lighter than Chisora, though, at 16-13-3. Chisora 18-2, just like Joshua was last week. Kabayel looking for the uppercut. He's got into a rhythm quicker than Chisora, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. And when you're throwing the uppercut as your opponent leans in, you're confident, because it's a shot that leaves you open. But when you feel confident, you're having it your own way, you tend to let go of that uppercut early on, and that's what he did there. And I think it landed. It was partially blocked by Chisora, but it was a good shot.
Big clubbing hooks from Chisora, but nothing much really landing yet from the Englishman out of range with the jab. And settling nicely there, Kabayel, taking the first couple. Welcome back. The tight corner around Agit Kabayel, who's made a good start to this European title defence, Carl.
Yeah, he's made a very good start. I mean, impressive his movement and his defence, and you know, he's nonchalantly there shaking his head as Chisora does a bit of work. He's doubling up with the jab at the end and having a bit of success as well. So we've seen a good bit of work, but it's still very early.
Kabayel's best wins probably over Christian Lewandowski for the vacant EU Union title. That was in Magdeburg a year and a half ago. And then in February of this year, he beat the Belgian fighter Hervé Houbeau, who was 26-1 for the full European belt. Good uppercut from Chisora. Best punch of the fight so far. Needed that, but it's woken Kabayel up, who comes back with a quick combination. So decent hand speed, he moves. Obviously, The Germans are pretty hopeful of him. He's got to wake up Chisora, hasn't he?
He does, yeah. I think he's trying to this right. Remember a couple of nice body shots, then looking for that overhand right as he backs up Kabayel, but Kabayel just happy to sit there and sort of move away from Chisora's big punch as he comes forward, rolling and slipping and diving. Looking dangerous, Chisora, but not able to really maintain the pressure in terms of punch rate as he backs up Kabayel, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to put them punches together in bursts.
Trying to swap body shots. Big right hand from Chisora, and they could all punch at heavyweight. Chisora's got 19 knockouts in his 27 wins, and Kabayel 12 in his 16. It's got the feeling of a long fight, though, this, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. We'll see how they wear on and how they slow down as the rounds unfold. But it doesn't look like anyone's got any real explosive power. Good right hand there from Kabayel. Chisora just leaving himself open there.
Yep, beautiful shot there. Never been the quickest, Dereck Chisora, but he's tough and strong, and when he's up for something, he can be ferocious. And he was really good against Dillian Whyte in Manchester. But he needs the sort of performance to wind back the clock a bit here, Chisora.
Yeah, he does, and also to show everybody else in the division that he means business, or almost, you know, convince the promoters and the fans that he deserves a shot at one of the other heavyweights in the division. I want to see him in there with Dillian Whyte. You know, there's potentially fights there with a couple of heavyweights. I mean, we're seeing David Hay.
Another right hand from Kabayel, who's getting real vocal support here in Monaco. Chisora's standing with him, looking for the uppercut again. Action hotting up a little.
Trying to stay with him there, Del Boy. He's putting his shots together. Kabayel firing back and answering, but it's a decent little round in terms of work rate and a bit of grit and determination from Chisora. But Kabayel's well in this. I mean, it's very, very close round. It's hard to separate them.
Just misses with a big couple of hooks there. Chisora, good round.
Now let's look on through him, okay? Beautiful.
He'll go to one of the rounds.
Well, they like what they see in the Chisora corner. Certainly better in the third.
Yeah, it was a better round. He got down to business a bit more there. Don't get me wrong, Kabayel not under any real danger, but he was getting hit with quite a few shots that he seemed to get out of the way of in the first two rounds.
Fight Night International from the Casino de Monte Carlo. And Dereck Chisora aiming to become European champion all over again. But Agit Kabayel wants to hold on to his property and announce himself tonight. HBO, Sky at ringside. This is an important night for the pair of them. Chisora under Eddie Hearn, having been with the Sauerlands. Kabayel at 25 with a huge amount to look forward to in this heavyweight world. We just weren't quite sure how good he is, and maybe still not, but he's doing fine in there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing okay. He's certainly in the fight. I mean, he's ahead on my card. We're only into round 4 now. Chisora getting into the fight a little bit more after a couple of rounds of not really having much success. I was more impressed with his work in round 3. He came out this round doubling up the jab and stepping in with his feet and getting in range, but he needs to put a bit more substance behind that double jab and work away when he gets there.
One of the criticisms of Dereck Chisora is he can be a bit one-paced. Remember the night when he fought Kubrat Pulev? There's a shot just bounces off his chin there. He sort of plodded and waded forward, but didn't quite do enough, really, when many thought he had the chance of beating Pulev. Seemed disinterested in between rounds, sat on his stool feeling a bit sorry for himself. You just never quite know what you're going to get with him.
No, mentally, sometimes you just don't know what's going through his mind. And he shows that at press conference. Sometimes he misbehaves.
Well, I remember all about that.
But when he means business, you do get a good performance out of him, and I'm hoping that he turns up tonight, and as these rounds go on, he starts to fancy it a bit.
Bit of an alley shuffle there, just light on his feet. Kabayel really using the ring, mobility, making Chisora miss.
I think that will frustrate Chisora a little bit. I don't think it'll be a bad thing because it'll make him get down to work.
So where's the jab from Chisora? Doesn't jab stop the speed, slow him down? Don't see a lot of evidence of it.
No, we need to see the jab, even the double jab as he backs up Kabayel, but he's not doing that. He's just walking forward. He's a big lump though. He's heavy, and it's hard to keep the double jab going and keep the footwork going. He likes to plod forward like he does and then work away when he's in range. But Kabayel showing good movement here, especially for a heavyweight.
Bit of hitting and holding there from Chisora, but all's fair in love and war, and he wants to make it rough, Chisora. Bring all that experience over the years. This is better from Dereck Chisora.
Well, Chisora's the one that's trying to make the fight happen. He's walking forward and trying to throw them big hooks. He's getting picked off with a few light shots, but nothing, I don't think, that's bothering him.
Well, there's CJ Hussein in the corner, but Don Charles is not here. I think it's a slight visa issue or something, some problem. He's not in Monaco. He came into Sky in the week, and he's been training Dereck, but he's not in there tonight. Is that a major issue when your main man's been training you and he's not there giving the instruction?
Yes, it can be, because you do rely on your main man, but you just have to get on with it. But it's not ideal. Hopefully, it won't be too much of a problem. Once you start getting hit in the face with punches, you know, your mind has to switch on, and you have to just, if there's a game plan, try and implement it the best you can. But it's all very much react to whatever's happening in front of you, so it's just down to business as usual.
Well, prior to this, Agit Kabayel had only had 61 rounds of professional boxing and 5 amateur bouts. Chisora, good amateur, and 207 rounds of boxing. But maybe it's that crossroads fight where the young man on the way up, with more fuel in the tank, more ambition, a bit more speed and mobility, hasn't had those defeats on the record, sort of comes of age. He's boxing well here, Agit Kabayel, and he must be ahead on the cards.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of range and movement for a big heavyweight, keeping out of range, using his jab, trying to slip and slide and bob and weave, and making it awkward for Chisora. And he's going to have success in this fight as the distance closes in, and that's how he'll nick the scoring on the points, and he's doing very much that. I mean, he's European champion coming into this, so he will have his nose in front on the card.
Agit, the crowd cheer here in Monaco for the European heavyweight champion, who's trying to put on an exhibition here against the old campaigner Dereck Chisora, who's looking for another big shot. He wants that Dylan White rematch.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement here from the European champion Kabayel, making Chisora miss quite wildly. And if he can keep this up, this will start to look like a bit of a boxing masterclass. I mean, it's a heavyweight, it's a bit... Is it sluggish? I don't know. They're big and they're heavy and the punches do look slow, but when you get around 17, 18 stone, this is hard work. So if he can keep this pace up, then I'll be impressed with him.
Tyson Fury here to support his old foe and friend Dereck Chisora. Carlos Takam on the opposite side of the ring as well, right in that heavyweight mix after his valiant display in losing to Anthony Joshua a week ago. There are many good fights to be made. Even the Joshua Wilder Fury level, or slightly below. There's, you know, the top 10, there's some great stuff to happen.
Yeah, there's some very interesting fights in this heavyweight division, just below world level. Just some good fights that could really open up, and Dereck Chisora with a win here tonight really puts himself in the mix, and he's got his hands full, but he looks up for it.
Planting his feet, walks into an uppercut. What's Chisora got to do? Has he got to give Kabayel no room? Has he got to really put combinations together, back him up? And is he capable at this stage of putting those tactics together and sustaining it round after round?
Well, you're right, he does need to back up Kabayel, and as he does that, he needs to work, but Kabayel's boxing quite well. He's getting him on the end of his jab, and he's working well with them hooks and them body shots.
Really nice work from Kabayel. Lovely combination.
We're over now, Adam. There's some good bit of boxing going off here in Monte Carlo this evening.
Yep, by royal appointment, Prince Albert of Monaco is with us, and a great many dignitaries from around the area. And they're delighted to have boxing here in this fabulous casino. But it's business for the fighters. They don't care where the ring is. In front of 100,000 at Wembley, or the tight atmosphere of 350, 400 packed into this opulent room, or whether at the York Hall. A ring's a ring, Cole.
It is, yeah, and Dereck Chisora's got his work cut out in this ring this evening, because Kabayel is showing good movement, and he seems to be walking Dereck Chisora onto punches as he walks forward, like that uppercut there that he just walked into. And Dereck needs to really get him close and get hold of his man, and, you know, make him pay for letting him close that distance. But he just seems to tie him up, and when he gets there, doesn't do enough about it, really.
Looking for the big punch, Chisora. Certainly trying to deliver his weapons, but he's slick and he's quick for a big man, Kabayel.
I think Chisora backing up there because he was getting tired of chasing Kabayel around the ring, so he sort of backed up and said, OK, let's try something different. You come to me, let's see what we can do.
These are really clever tactics from Kabayel. He's obviously, they've looked at Chisora, they've looked at what he does come forward, that he struggles with movers, he struggled with Tyson Fury, and they just think at this stage in Chisora's career, this is the way to go out boxing him. I think it's really good.
It's good if he can maintain the pace. He doesn't show any, you know, dangerous signs of slowing down. But if he can keep this up, this is a pretty good performance from Kabayel.
No animation on the face of Tyson Fury just across us at ringside. Probably worried about the way this is panning out for Chisora. Kabayel, who took fights where he could get them. Serbia, Turkey, Poland, under small German promoters. You know, he's had a hard upbringing as well. Even though he's younger, it's been tough. Is this the coming out party?
Well, it could be. This could give him the confidence he needs and really make him start to stamp his authority at heavyweight. Leaving his chin open there, and that's what Chisora needs. Chisora needs to land a shot that's going to really make some kind of dent.
Right hand to head and to body from Chisora. That's what he needs to slow down Kabayel, because at the moment the German is in a nice rhythm, a pattern, and his feet are working so well.
Just starting to load up now, Chisora. Almost not fully desperate, but, you know, signs of desperation setting in as Chisora steps in with a looping right hand. He needs to land something big, and I think he knows it.
Bring your feet with him. You're too far away with him. Measure him with a jab, please. Measure him with a jab, and then bring your feet and throw the right hand, okay? Just move the head from me all the time as you're walking in, okay? Yeah, up on your toes again, please.
I can use your jab.
Yeah.
The side have a rest. Jab, 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 jab with him. Yeah, don't jab all the way, jab, push forward. Okay. Yeah, have a breathe on this round. Yeah, get your win back.
Well,
Yeah,
CJ Hussein and Ian Dewberry in there, Carl, both telling Dereck to use his jab. Was he really listening? He certainly hasn't been utilising that weapon tonight.
He seems to do his own thing, Dereck Chisora, but Kabayel really is a tricky customer. He's moving well, he's counter-punching Chisora as he comes forward, and he looks like he can punch a little bit. And Chisora, if he walks into too many shots as he comes forward, he'll start to get disheartened and stop doing it.
First half, it's been a wonderful display from Agit Kabayel, who is proving a worthy European champion against a rather tired-looking Dereck Chisora. Chisora in fight number 35. He's been around for 10.5 years, but it seems a long, long time ago that he challenged Vitaly Klitschko and did very well in defeat over 12 rounds. Was meant to share a ring at one point with Vladimir. That didn't happen. Got beaten by David Hay at Upton Park. Are his best days really in the past now?
Yeah, I don't want to speak too soon, but unfortunately for Dereck Chisora, it does seem like you know, he maybe had his best day and they're behind him. But you never say never with the heavyweight division. You know, if he fancied the job, I'm sure he can turn up and he's only got to land that one big punch.
See, that is the difference. You sort of write him off, and then he comes and gives you 12 rounds of terrific, tenacious action against Dylan White after the most disappointing of well, out of the ring behavior in the build-up. He got fined. It was, you know, overheated, wasn't it? And then in the ring, he was brilliant that night.
It was, yeah. It was very overheated on the build-up, and you know, it was a little bit unsavoury at times. But that's what Dereck Chisora does. And you know, he went 12 rounds with Dylan White, and a lot of people couldn't separate him at ringside. He lost that one, but it was very, very close, and a lot thought he'd done enough.
And then he has a nice life in North London, and he goes shooting with friends. He's a real character, isn't he? I think he has Philip Green as one of his mates. I'm not sure if Philip Green's around Monaco tonight, but Dereck Chisora hangs out with that sort of world now, and you wonder deep down how much he really wants it. We're going to find out. Right hand from Kabayel, beautifully picked.
There's a nicely timed right hand there from the European champion, showing class there because it was very well timed as Chisora walked forward. Seems to be just losing his feet a little bit, but he's quite light and quite nimble on his feet, Kabayel. He moves well for a heavyweight.
Just pop it, yeah, popping the right hand again. I think he moves really nicely for a heavyweight. Very light. He's got a different sort of style, hasn't he, to others we've seen over the last couple of years. I'm immediately thinking, you know, how would Dylan White deal with Agit Kabayel and the likes of Carlos Takam against him, maybe?
You know, they're two very interesting fights. The Dylan White fight against Kabayel, how would you see that one going? How would you pick it? Because it's an unknown quantity, but he seems to be relaxed and in a rhythm in this one against Chisora. And just edging these, well, not just edging, he's nicking these rounds now. He's winning these rounds quite comfortably by his own pace and work rate. He's not having to really step it up or do anything different, just boxing on his back foot and getting success.
Have a breather there. Yeah. Good, yeah? Good. You're outboxing it round. You won the round, you're outboxing.
Yeah, box me.
You're outboxing.
You won that round. Just keep your hands tight. Just looking for that right hand, okay? So as he goes up, like Terry's saying.
Watch out for that movement, the lateral movement.
Okay.
Yes?
Watch out for the lateral movement. No Don Charles, remember, in the corner. Is Dereck Chisora having one of his disinterested phases? Gets back to his jab. That's what he needs to do. But he's got to do something to stop this Agit Kabayel just picking up round after round. I mean, he's winning this in a canter.
Yeah, he's quite relaxed and comfortable at his own pace, Kabayel. And he'll be quite happy as he walks back to his corner after every round. But he's managing to just pick off Chisora like that as Chisora comes forward. It's that single right hand that Chisora's walking into. I do worry if he can apply the pressure that he needs to really try and get himself into this fight.
From Zimbabwe originally, Chisora moved to London. Was a super heavyweight champion for the ABAs back in 2005. Always been a solid heavyweight on the scene. Nice right hand from Kabayel. The lateral movement, the speed, the judgment of distance has been excellent from the German.
Yeah, he's landing that counter right hand on his back foot. I think the reason he's landed it is because it's a bit of an arm shot. He's just pushed his arm out there. It's fast, but there's not much weight behind it. And I think Chisora's just walking through it, thinking, you know, I'm not too bothered about that land as long as I can get my shots off. But he's just not busy enough, Chisora.
There was obviously a massive rivalry with Dylan White, which spilled over, as you said, unsavoury, and the gloves are off. But he was really up for this. And I wonder if he just felt he could turn up in Monaco and deal with this guy, that he's this youngster who hasn't fought anyone in Kabayel, and maybe he hadn't studied the tapes.
Yeah, he may have had a look at the tapes and seen some of Kabayel's previous performances and just fancied it and thought, you know what, I've got too much experience, but you can't take the opponents lightly, especially not these young, ambitious heavyweights. I mean, he's European champion, so he comes into the ring quite proud.
Keeps trying, keeps coming forward, always does, Dereck Chisora. Rock solid for most of his career. Yes, he got stopped by David Haye. Tyson Fury was too much for him. Second time they fought, but good chin, good durability and strength. But is just not at the races tonight. Not yet. There is time.
Well, if he's going to employ these tactics and follow Kabayel around the ring, not really cut the ring off and put any pressure on him, when he gets there, he really needs to unload 4 or 5 explosive-looking punches. He's not really doing that, so it's almost like a bit of a plod, where he'll just keep plodding and keep losing round after round, because the judges will not be impressed with his work.
And I know heavyweights can finish a shot like that, but he's not normally the one-punch knockout artist, is he, Chisora?
No, he's not, and that's the danger. You know, if you're his corner man thinking, right, I've got to get into this fight, it's got to land something big. Is that big punch there?
Let's go. Not too many people.
Yeah, too many.
He has developed as he moves through this. It's a tough division, the light heavyweight division. It's exciting times for him.
Me too. As we move into the 8th round here in Monaco, Dereck Chisora trying to become a European champion, and he ups the tempo. Maybe he thought that Kabayel would box a move and that he'd like to get to him in the latter stages. But the fact is, he's hardly won a round. I'm just looking at your card, I'm looking at Darren Barker's alongside me, and it's pretty much everything to the champion, Agit Kabayel. 3 judges at ringside from France, Bulgaria and Spain. And they'll be seeing the same thing, won't they?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to score many rounds, if any, to Dereck Chisora with this kind of performance. I mean, he's backing up Kabayel, but he needs to work when he gets there. Maybe his tactics are to make Kabayel move and work away like he is doing and get on his back foot and slow him down, but if Kabayel does not slow down, Dereck Chisora will not have any success. He can't take that gamble and leave it too late. He needs to get to work now.
Trying to get behind his jab, at least Chisora, but walks into another lovely shot from Kabayel.
Yeah, Chisora landed a nice sharp jab there, but walking into a left hook.
Intelligent boxing from the German to a good game plan. They know it'll be tough to stop Chisora, but they've just been a step ahead of him. And he looks relaxed. And a happy fighter's a good fighter, Cole.
No, precisely. I mean, you wonder what he's got, because he's not being asked too many questions by Chisora. He's not being forced into really fire back. So we're learning enough about him to say that he deserves his European spot, and he's a decent addition to the heavyweight division. But we're not going to see how good he is unless he's put under some real pressure, and Chisora needs to start doing that. I mean, he's backing him up nicely with a jab, but when he gets there, unless he throws a right hand and a left hook and then puts a couple of body shots, we're not going to see what Kabayel has. Whilst Kabayel's having it all his own way like he is now, he's probably going to stay in this gear.
And it is a gear, a little bit like a sparring session, and I think we mentioned it last week in commentary with Dylan White and Robert Helenius. Certainly Helenius was so negative, and he got used to becoming a sparring partner for the likes of Joshua. But Kabayel is just treating it like that tonight. He's never had to go out of third gear here.
Yeah, it's human nature as well. If you're having the night your way and you win on points, why take risks, especially in this sport? Because if you start to step forward and let shots go and try to look for something impressive, you might just walk into a shot or a clash of heads like we saw earlier. So he's doing the right thing here, Kabayel.
Kabayel turns southpaw, back to orthodox, a smile on his face. I just noticed Johnny Nelson talking to Carlos Takam, a smile on their faces after their recent work in Paris. And he's with the very brave challenger from last week.
Thanks, Adam. Carlos is here. He said he's going to try and do it in English. Thank you, Carlos. First question, how are you feeling after your fight last weekend?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Yes, I'm feeling good. Yeah.
You had 2 very bad cuts. How are they healing?
No, it's okay now. You can see. No, here is you have nothing here. Here is little bad, but now it's okay. My doctor told me today everything is okay.
Have you had a chance to watch the fight back, and what did you think when you watched it?
I don't watch the fight.
You've not seen it yet?
No, I don't see it yet.
We'll get you a DVD.
Maybe I'm gonna see. I talk to the guy to French TV to send me the match.
It's the least we can do. How are you seeing this fight so far between Kabayel and Chisora? Who have you got winning?
The fight is boring. It's too slow, you know.
Okay.
Excuse me, but
No. Thanks for talking to us. Thank you.
Too slow and boring for Carlos Takam. I'm sure he thinks Kabayel is winning. I tell you what, everybody goes on about how nice Anthony Joshua is, and he is outside of the ring. That's one nice fella as well, Carlos Takam. He's been a pleasure to be around the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm sure we'll see him in really good fights in 2018. He'll be in this sort of mix. As we said, maybe with Dylan White, and I'm sure he'd love a rematch at some point with Anthony Joshua. Might not happen, but he's announced himself, certainly, with that brave performance in Cardiff. Can Dereck Chisora change the pattern here? Because otherwise, what's going to happen to his career, Carl? If he loses this emphatically on points, what is next?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because this is a fight that really we need to see him look good against. And I think he's now come out in this round. He's been told by his corner he needs to work. He's trying to double that jab up, but right at the start of this round, he walked into that sharp right hand again from Kabayel, who seems to be just boxing within himself and boxing so nicely behind that jab and that movement. Standing in front of Chisora here, but I've said it before and I say it again, Chisora needs to land a big shot, or unfortunately, I think the writing's on the wall for him.
Attempting the big slugging right hand. Remember, he predicted a knockout, unquestionably, Dereck Chisora. But what he didn't predict was a lovely boxing performance from the champion here. Still determined, Chisora, still trying to find a way to change it. But he needs something big, and he needs it quick.
A bit more intention behind his work now, Dereck Chisora, as he steps forward to that double jab, and he's having a bit of success. Kabayel a bit frustrated with himself there, taking them jabs, but Dereck Chisora needs to step in and land one of them looping right hands, try and catch him at the side or the back of the head, and follow it with a left hook and stay on top of him. Really, we need to see quite an injection of pace and aggression from Chisora.
Some people were unhappy with Dylan White's performance last weekend, but he got the win, and that's all important. Chisora looks set for a wide defeat unless he can find a knockdown or a knockout or something. And that's the difference, isn't it? He's lost to White, and he'll have lost to this man, Kabayel.
Yeah, this is definitely a fight he needs to win, unless he can land a game-changing punch. Unfortunately for Dereck Chisora, he's just falling short of getting outboxed.
Peter Fury tweeted earlier that Chisora's going to be in for a tough night with Agit Kabayel. Bright guy, knows his stuff. He's absolutely right. It's a bit of a nightmare, this, for Dereck. This is outside the Monte Carlo Casino. And the lineup of cars there, from McLarens, Maseratis, Lamborghinis, Ferraris. Not even your league, Mr. Froch.
Well, the who's who of the gambling world and the Billionaires Club is closely by Monte Carlo. Did you see the yachts in the port earlier? I mean, phenomenal place. It's another world. It's great to be here.
It's a great people-watching place, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. I was sat in a coffee shop, I won't give anyone a plug, earlier, watching the people go by. And yeah, it was quite a fascinating place. Only a small part of the world.
I think they've tempted the high rollers in tonight with this big boxing event. It's become an annual attraction here in Monaco. And with 2 world titles and a European crown on the line, and an eliminator, it's good action for the punters here. this hasn't been any sort of dramatic heavyweight fight, though. What it has been is an introduction to what Agit Kabayel is all about.
Yeah, you get the feeling, and I don't want to take anything away from Dereck Chisora, but Kabayel seems to be just kind of cruising and maybe boxing within himself. Maybe he's really trying and forcing, and this is the best we're going to see of him, but he's doing a job here, and he seems to be at his own pace, and, you know, he's stuck in the gear that he's comfortable with. His cornerman will be telling him he's having a success and he's winning this round. I like what Dereck Chisora's doing now. He's trying to force the pace a little bit, and hopefully that big shot will get lined up and we'll see a bit of action, but it's getting late, 6 minutes to go.
Chisora was ranked about 8 in the WBC, Kabayel 13. Later on tonight, Deontay Wilder defends his crown against Bermain Stavern. Just told off for a low blow. Looks okay to me, that.
Yeah, it was borderline. I don't think it was too malicious from Dereck Chisora.
Just looking down at the sort of top 10, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Alexander Povetkin, Joseph Parker, Luis Ortiz has been shamed, obviously, in recent weeks. Tyson Fury still knocking around, Kubrat Pulev, Dylan White, Andy Ruiz, Jared Miller. I mean, you put this guy in there, wouldn't you now, Agit Kabayel?
Yeah, you'd like to see how they perform against him, because he's shown tonight that he does belong in this heavyweight mix, but he does need to step it up following on from this if he's going to try and make some kind of impact at world level.
Chisora closing down the ground, and there's a menace look.
Better work from Chisora as he backs him up. This is what I want to see from Chisora. We probably wanted to see it a few rounds earlier, though.
Yep, very, very late in the day, this, for Chisora. You never know with the heavyweights. We've seen dramatic final rounds over the years. Has he got to go out for the last few minutes and just give it absolutely everything?
If he seriously thinks he can do something in his fight or wants to win it, he's going to have to. He's going to have to produce a knockout.
Or is he happy going the distance and seeing, you know, maybe where the twists and turns are next year? How seriously will Dereck Chisora be taken as a heavyweight force after this? I think it's really in question now, Carl.
Well, the fans demand the fights, don't they? And I mean, they're the ones that end up on television. And I don't know if anybody will be calling for Dereck Chisora to step up against any of the big heavyweights following on from this performance.
Would you rather see Chisora White 2, or would you rather see White against Kabayel?
Yeah, the White Kabayel fight's really, really interesting, but I wouldn't turn down the rematch because that one was very close, and I really did enjoy that.
It was a great fight, wasn't it? Eddie Hearn on his feet, clapping. Well, Darren Barker and Eddie Hearn just swapping words at ringside. Darren has got Kabayel a mile in front. Eddie Hearn has got it much closer over there. Well, it's the other side of the ring. It is subjective, of course. 3 judges at ringside. I can only see Kabayel winning this, and winning this really comfortably.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same. I mean, when Chisora works hard and puts Kabayel on his back foot, as he did in that last round, it's hard to really take the round off Kabayel because he's counter-punching well and he's having his own share of success. So when you can't pick a winner, you have to score the round even, and that's how I score it. So the last round was a lot closer for Chisora. You got to share that one, but he's a mile behind on the scorecard. He's losing this fight, in my opinion, conclusively.
And a quick start as well. Straight off his stool, Agit Kabayel trying to put some polish on. Chisora slips on the sweat of the canvas. Got to put everything into it.
Well, we're into the last round now, and Chisora must know that he's behind on the card, so he's going to have to try something. He's going to have to try and land the shot, and that wasn't a bad right hand he threw there. He stepped in with it.
But he's really digging his feet into the canvas now, Dereck Chisora. But Kabayel wants to match him. Punches raining in here. Is there a late twist in the plot? And how have the judges got it? I'm really surprised to hear that Eddie Hearn has got it really much tighter to Chisora. Have others, sorry, to Kabayel, but tighter on the card.
Yeah, I mean, the rounds are quite close. but I doubt they can be given the round to Chisora because he's getting outboxed. Kabayel's on his back foot, picking off Chisora as he comes in, and Chisora not working enough to win the rounds. I mean, that's in my humble opinion. But he's having a good go here, and this is hotting up, and we wanted to see this earlier on from Chisora, but maybe he's got no confidence to keep this pace going, so he's just throwing it all now in the last round.
Yeah, winging the hooks, trying for the jackpot here in the casino to land something. Dereck Chisora. I wonder if he'd upped the tempo a few rounds ago. This is more like Chisora White. That was what we saw that night in Manchester. And Dereck digging in finally, but Kabayel staying with him. This is much better from the North Londoner, but is it a case of too little, far too late?
Well, this is what we want to see from Dereck Chisora, and this is why we don't like to write him off, because there's a big lump of a heavyweight and he can fight when he wants to.
This is great to see from Chisora, really going for it at the end, but he'll watch the take back and he'll be frustrated, lefts and rights. And Kabayel said, come on there, and finally we have a real heavyweight round of toe-to-toe action. Last 45 seconds, Chisora digging deep, Kabayel holding on. All his good work, the German. And still he's light on his feet, and he's taken Chisora's punches. Last 30.
Well, he's taken the punches and he's answering back. He spoke to Chisora in there. We wanted to see more from Chisora, and we're seeing it. This is exciting stuff. But back comes Kabayel.
For me, Agit Kabayel has proved his boxing ability and his heart for a fight as well. I think this is the announcement of a new guy on the scene. He's European champion, and now he's very well known to British viewers and those globally. Great performance, Agit Kabayel surely has defended his European title in style against the always brave Dereck Chisora, but who just didn't really get going. And that's hats off to Kabayel as much as it is to the sort of lack of full throttle from Chisora until the final 3 minutes.
No, real good work from Chisora. Fair play to him, finishing strong, giving us what we wanted. And I said earlier, you're not going to know how good Kabayel is until you see him under pressure. And we saw him under pressure there for almost a full 3 minutes. And he responded well, and he fired back. So we've learned more in that last round about Kabayel than we learned for the first 11 rounds. And hats off to both men. Chisora, I think, he's going to fall short. But what a brave, gallant effort there in that last round. Where was that earlier on, Dereck?
Tyson Fury had it to Chisora by a couple. Wow. And Eddie Hearn agrees that Chisora's done enough. Carl Froch and Darren Barker vehemently disagree, and they think Kabayel by a long way. Judges from France, Bulgaria and Spain are the only ones that matter, because they will decide where the European title is going back to. For me, that was a terrific performance from Agit Kabayel.
Yeah, Dereck Chisora played his part, especially in that last round. We needed to see that earlier, but as the rounds unfolded throughout that fight, on my scorecard, it was really difficult to give any kind of success, including, you know, scoring the rounds and letting him win the rounds. It was almost impossible to score the rounds because he was getting outboxed and picked off on his way in.
The Germans celebrating, the Brits aren't. Does Dereck know? The wise old fox. He was going for it in that final round as though he needed a knockout. And Agit Kabayel, I think, would feel he'll be really robbed if he doesn't take this title home. I'm quite surprised at those scorecards from Eddie and Tyson.
Yeah, the opinion of ringside just shows how subjective scoring and boxing can be, because, you know, we're writing down the scores as we go along. We're sat right in front of the action, and we can't see anything other than a bit of a boxing master, well, not a master class, but he's outboxed and beat Chisora to the punch, so he should be scoring the rounds. But you just never know in boxing. Chisora, it was very close. He's in this fight and he finished strong. So let's find out.
And some of the later rounds were much closer, but first six, I mean, Kabayel was boxing beautifully on the back foot, and it was a lovely performance from someone we didn't know too much about in only his 17th fight. Still waiting for the official cards. CJ Hussein looking disappointed when I pointed towards Kabayel. that we believe he's done enough. Michael Buffer has the scores. Let's find out.
Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the scorecards, a round of applause for these two heavyweights in the ring here tonight. Here are the scorecards. Judge Nikolov scores it 114-114. He has it even. Alonso Rosa scores it 115-113. Ali Touche scores it 115-114 to the winner by majority decision. And still EBU heavyweight champion Agit Kabayel.
Very, very close on the three cards by 115-113, 115-114, and a draw by majority decision. Agit Kabayel retains his title. Well, Eddie and Tyson had it close. You and Darren had it very wide. Fascinating. Andy is with Dereck.
Dereck, you just said to me then, how did I lose that fight? Did you think you had done enough?
You know, in the later rounds I started boxing. But you know what? I ain't gonna complain. I lost the fight.
Tremendous effort in the last round. Did you just leave it a little bit too late?
I think I've done enough on the middle rounds. I started jabbing him. Over the time he was moving, running away. So it was a slick operator. He won. I ain't gonna cry.
Does that put play to the Dylan White rematch that you wanted so badly?
You know, I always bounce back anyway, so I'm not worried.
Okay, commiserations. Let's have a word with a still European champ. Agit, I know that English is not your first language, but I know you can speak English. You're still European champion. If people didn't know about you before tonight, they know about you now. Talk us through that fight. Talk us through the fight.
Erzähl, was im Kampf passiert ist.
Yes, it's a hard fight, Chisora. Thank you, Chisora. Dereck is a very good opponent, strong guy. I give my best, and I win the fight.
It was close on the scorecards. Did you think that you had done enough?
Es war sehr eng auf dem Zettel. Hast du gedacht, dass du genug gemacht hast, um den Kampf zu gewinnen?
No, I want every round more. I'm not interested in my rounds. I give every round my best. I win the fight. I'm happy.
Congratulations and well done.